Now, if you notice, we have one endpoint or one route just for one page, right? Hello world. And then we would have to do the same for the not found, right? Create a not found here. Let's do it. Not found.html. Let me put it down here. Then I'm going to do the same here. Cut this thing, put it there, and then I got to go, okay. fs.read file sync. What's the file name? Not-found.html. Okay, put the options for the encoding. In an object, encoding, string UTF-8. Put that in a variable, HTML content. And finally, send that content of the variable. You can see I'm repeating myself, right? And imagine the website today, many websites have so many pages. This is not scalable, right? Meaning this is not going to work out well. I have to keep doing the same thing over and it's going to be a mess. Okay, there's a better way to do that. And we're going to learn about a middleware for the static files. So HTML files, images, fonts, JavaScript files, CSS files on the client side, they're all called, you can consider them as static files. Okay? Like you can think of them as assets, right? Image assets, fonts, and everything. So let's put them in a directory I'll call public. Move all the HTML there. Public is going to be all for the static files, like HTML pages. So I moved all of them there. I created the directory public, moved the HTML files there. This is out of, don't save, because. Okay, now what I'm going to do here after I do my app is I'm going to install a middleware. So I'm going to say app.use, parentheses. The use is a way for us to use a middleware. And this middleware comes from the Express variable here, dot static. And then you got to call it with the name of the directory you want to serve the static files. Now I need to explain to you what is middleware. So middleware is basically intermediate between the request and response. So when a request comes in through Express, it will pass through many functions that do things for you. And these are called middleware functions. And they do some work before it actually reaches the handler function here for the endpoint that will ultimately send back the response. So if you get a request, it will pass through the middleware functions. After that, it finally reaches this handler function that you define for this specific route. So this middleware here is for static files. What is it doing? Basically, it's doing this, what I already did here. It's reading the file. It's setting content to whatever, HTML, all this stuff, okay? And it does so by looking at a specific directory, in this case, public. Okay, so if you try to access, it's going to serve this public directory, and it's going to do less hello world and dash not found because the file names here correspond to these. So it takes the route from the file name. Notice it's not going to have the prefix public, okay? That's not going to happen. You don't have to type public. Public is just meant to be, okay, this middleware will go to the public directory and take everything there and define all these endpoints to serve these static assets, these pages. Okay, so no public. You're not going to type public. You're just going to type whatever the file name is. You don't need to type HTML. Okay, so with that, we don't need to do this anymore. You can just either remove, I'm going to comment it out. So when I comment the code, it's not executed. Okay, I can just remove it, or I can leave it there for reference for you. But this is not executed at all, okay? So let's try it out in the browser. Do I still see hello world? Oops, did it not work? Oh, I had to type the HTML. Never mind. I thought I wouldn't have to. And what's the other one? Not found? Not working? Okay, let's debug this. Go back. Did I type it right? Not found. Oh, there's nothing. That's why. What's going on? I removed the thing. Okay, HTML. Body. Not found. Let me put content back there. Go back to the browser. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so in this case, you'd have to type the full file name, but I think there's a way to not have to type HTML. Maybe if I made it a folder, let me just explore that a little. I wonder what would happen if I make it index.html and put it inside Hello World folder. Let's try that. Save the server to restart. Let's try that /hello world. Ah, now it works. So that way it works. I wonder if there's an option for that middleware to not have to type the HTML. There might be. But the way I did this was creating a folder hello world and renaming the file to index. So when we say /hello world, it automatically fetches the index page. Okay, so that's the static middleware to provide static assets. So you would put all your HTML under public and it would serve automatically. So I don't have to define an endpoint, a get endpoint for each file that I have. I don't need to repeat myself. It's basically doing all of this for me.